Hello, fifth hour CIS Physiology, officially at the university. You are biology 1015. It's a little longer than that, but we're just going to go with biology 1015. I am Mr. Sharp, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I apologize that um, I cannot be there today. It has been, as you noticed today at school, it was very refreshing to get back into kind of a normal routine. I mean, yes, this is an abnormal routine with student success days, but kind of nice to have everybody back in the building and getting a sense of a normal on that. But along with that goes the fact that I am a coach and I am the head coach of cross country. Normally, we do not. As I emailed your parents, normally we do not, of course, have school before Labor Day. And every year, now that we're back in having a normal cross country season, we can go back to the races we did before, one of which always occurs on this day, this Thursday before Labor Day. And normally it's not a conflict, but it is. And it's an important race for us because it is running the same exact course as the state meet, and we only get that opportunity once. So I wish I was there with your stacking cup activity that you're going to do here after you watch these videos, but I just wanted to um, break in and say hello. Of course, prior to watching this, you would have watched our fearless leader, Dr. Jensen, who's the head of, who's the main guy at the University of Minnesota that guides this, where you're getting credit. Anyhow, a couple things, and all this stuff we're going to hit again next Wednesday, anyhow, because it's part of your syllabus and stuff like that. There's my contact information for stuff. There's just letting you know. I also teach, some of you know this because you're in these courses, but honors chemistry and AP biology. And I said the boss, and I asked through the sub and through Schoology, I gave you a link to a YouTube for Dr. Jensen. And Dr. Jensen is a wonderful guy. He, unlike most college professors, he actually started as a high school teacher, moved his way up, so he understands it far more. Many of your college professors have never taught, never had a teaching course or how to teach class or anything along that line. Doesn't mean they're bad people or whatever. They just don't have that background and they just don't understand, even though you're high school kids. And I should say this, you're actually college freshmen because you are taking a course that college freshmen will be taking. But if you haven't, you can watch the boss. And all he's going to tell you about is that your study of physiology here will be a little bit different than you might suspect. And it's a little bit different than our other non CIS anatomy and physiology. We don't as much focus on the memorization anatomy stuff. Here's the parts, name them, label them, do that stuff. Certainly that's a part of it. But that's kind of stuff you can study out of the book and on your own. We want to work the problems in the physiology stuff. We want to watch the interactions of all the systems because although many anatomy classes will break down, here's the cardiovascular system, here's the digestive system, here's this, they all work together. And that's why when you're watching those commercials, those pharmaceutical commercials, and they give you about 5 seconds of how it's going to make you healthy, and then they give you 35 seconds of everything that could go wrong, and that everything that could go wrong or has in their trials and everything else is because of the interactions of all that stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed watching the boss. You'll see the syllabus and stuff, and we'll talk about it, but it's really just giving you an idea of where's the college credit come from. You will get a 4 credit general science with a lab of credit from the university that will transfer to the majority of schools. There's only been a couple schools that we found that haven't said no, and with some help from me, sometimes they've said yes. But just understand this is a freshman level introduction. If you're going to go on, as many of you plan on doing right now, to med school, nursing, any type of big health career that requires a 4-year degree, this will not cover that, but this is a nice preview. Those are courses on that second bullet point, the ones that you really need to go to med school, go to nursing school. Those are your junior year of college and usually often associated with the human cadaver lab. But anyhow, so it does not substitute those higher level courses and stuff that you may need in the future, but here you are at ECU High knocking out 4 credits. There is no, I'll say this right now, there is no big test at the end. It's not an AP course. It is your grade is your grade, and we'll talk about that next week, because really your grade is all 4 quarters averaged into one grade for the university. Okay, and it does satisfy graduation credits on things that you need, especially if you're in the College of Biological Science. Okay, always trying to be around for help, especially on this, because again, if you've had AP biology with me before, you've had more exposure to the inquiry method that Dr. Jensen talked about. You've had more exposure to application of principles and stuff like that, but it is still a work in progress and a difficult thing. And it's only difficult in many respects because it's not to the level that we do it has not been your experience education wise right now. Your experience is usually giving you, starting with you with kind of the more definitive, straightforward questions, and then maybe you get one application convergent or divergent question, whereas we spend our life hanging around, a lot of our time hanging around that. The textbook, which you can check out, a blue textbook, which you should check out from the Media Center and leave it home, is Martini Visualizing Anatomy. It is version 1. Online, I'll be putting, I can't get a PDF online. What the book is old, the book is older, and there's no big deal with it being older because anatomy doesn't change. So it's not, but we're not being supported with online materials from Pearson anymore until we go through the textbook stuff again and get new textbooks. But the 3rd edition is, I found a PDF of the 3rd edition. And so that's on Schoology, and both are just great resources to have at home. Schoology is going to be our main resource. We jump around the book, so you'll see that. We jump around the book because we teach this in a physiology manner, not the systemic, system by system kind of stuff. So I will never leave you hanging. You'll know exactly the units, the pages and stuff that you have to read. It's just all anatomy textbooks for the most part are set up system by system, as opposed to looking at a larger holistic view that we do. Okay, we do. Dr. Jensen told you we have to do some quizzing every week. So generally, first day of week, we'll have a short quiz on here's what we did last. Well, short relatively. We'll have a quiz on here's what we did last week to make sure you're keeping up with it. Of course, I will make sure that you know exactly where we are and the good reference points in the book and due dates and everything else. But we really want to spend our time in the classroom either discussing case studies or doing lab work or doing some things like that. Do your best to try and study a little bit every day as opposed to leaving it till the end. Know that, and we'll talk about this again as we go through the course in the first few weeks as reminders. Know that if you do a little bit every day, it's a whole lot easier than piling it up at the end. And also know that there's going to be things that we just expect you to do outside of this class that are really based on the anatomy. You go learn the parts of the heart and the names of whatever. We want to talk about when this is failing, how does that affect it? You know, if a valve is going down, how does that affect heart rate, respiration, blood pressure, nervous system, all sorts of things. Okay? So that's just a quick overview with Dr. Jensen again. Thank you for watching this. I have a cup stacking activity, no cheating. You cannot touch it with your hands. You have to stack the cups somehow using the string and the rubber band, and take a picture of it, and then we may reward you when we get back on Wednesday. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. We will talk to you later.